Hello everyone and welcome in to the OWC World Cup 2022 finals. We are here to kick off the second to last weekend of the tournament with the top 6 teams left. It is a losers bracket matchup today between the United States, who find themselves in the losers bracket before grand finals for the first time since 2014, up against Romania, who have made their first ever top 6 appearance after besting Russia in a semifinals rematch yesterday, Friday, at this same time. We are going to have a very interesting matchup, I think, between a United States team who will probably be out looking for blood this weekend on the finals pool, given that this is the worst performance they have seen in many, many years before the finals weekend against a Romania who has nowhere to go but up from here. They have already finished the best that Romania ever has and can only be looking for a better finish after this. Once again, I am Dio, and I will be casting this with, I suppose, Chillier Pear, who is here with me in the voice chat. This was not planned, but welcome, Mr. Pear.
Hello. I guess I'm taking the fill position today. This is a match I'm very excited for. We saw in the previous weeks with the United States taking their loss to South Korea. Funny enough, not the first time the United States has lost to South Korea in a country-based tournament in the semifinals. Funny enough, it has happened in, I believe, both 3 and 4-digit World Cup in very similar fashion at 1 in the morning. So kind of the kryptonite of the U.S. apparently. And Romania with their second shot in this tournament, if you will. Of course, being eliminated for previous events in the remainder, the previous weekends, and besting Russia yesterday in tiebreaker. Very impressive fashion with Satono Diamond setting a great tiebreaker play to bring them to this weekend. They are now going to try and see if they can make it through one more against the reigning champions, who are now trying to, again, like you said, make that correction, get that redemption from last weekend. The United States is a team that has been known year in and year out for their late stage skill cap and consistency. They're going to try and strut their stuff a little bit here. Romania, a team who hasn't really had a chance to show off that late stage ability before. They've always been eliminated just before hitting this finals pool, especially last year. They had one of their best years, and this year topping that with their top 6 placement right now. Interested to see how they fend against the United States on this difficult pool.
Yeah, and I think some relatively expected bans here. Maybe a bit of an interesting one with the Hard Rock 3 first ban for the United States. A lot of times when you look to Romania, a lot of people are going to be talking about Badu in particular because he is somebody who shapes the picks and bans around Romania when they do find themselves, especially in these high skill cap matchups. He is probably the highest skill cap player on that team, but can only go in for a particular subset of maps. You're looking at things like the 3mod 3, the hidden 2 usually. In this case, it's going to be the No Mod 5 is that other low approach rate map in the No Mod pool this time around. But aside from that, often finds himself in on things like the No Mod 3 aim control map if they're low enough BPM, the tech map in No Mod, that No Mod 4 pick, oftentimes the Hidden 3 and Hard Rock 3. This Hard Rock 3 a little bit particular because of the fact that there's a lot of 1/6 bursts in that map, so very, very finger control heavy, a little bit speedy and bursty, so not maybe the best map for a player like Badu, who tends to be their carry on those aim control picks. That No Mod 4 ban, however, I think relatively straightforward for the US. Also a very good low approach rate reading team, so not scared at all of Romania on those low approach rate picks in the No Mod 5 and the Free Mod 3 this time around. Romania, understandably scared of the US on the DT2 and Free Mod 2. The United States, quite possibly the single best speed team in the tournament this year, with even better scores on the speed maps than Canada and Germany in recent rounds in the quarterfinals and semifinals.
A very interesting shift from the United States this year in terms of the skill sets represented throughout this team. I think in previous years, we've generally thought of the United States as kind of taking the route of more of a gimmick-heavy team in terms of what they're good at in these later stages. And it's part of the reason that they've kind of rounded this team out so well in the past is because they are good at mechanics, but they kind of leveraged that gimmick ability to their advantage in the later stages, whereas other teams were kind of able to put up the fight on mechanics. The United States this year has really sided their roster towards these, kind of faster based mechanics maps in here. Obviously with the additions of players like Decatan, Monko 2K's return, and Sawada this year, as well as Rectagon having the opportunity to play again, is really giving the United States that kind of speed stack that they wanted this year. I think the only thing missing is actually Arison, who's not playing this year. So you've got this roster that's pretty peak in terms of BPM and speed cap. If you're looking at the side of Romania, though, we kind of always talk about Badu being a big carry on the Romania team and being so good at those gimmick late stage maps, being able to put up that solo carry performance. And I think something that we don't focus on quite as much is the backing roster that Romania has. I shouldn't even say backing, because a lot of these players are at the front of this team. You've got Satono Diamond, clearly one of the best players on the team this year, aside from Badu in terms of match cost. Eternum, who comes year in and year out and is able to perform on these stamina picks. And then you've got the additions of players like Lucrece and Rolly from last year coming back this year. This is a mechanics favored team by, any stretch of the imagination, especially with this roster right now. So, you're looking at a United States who has kind of brought back a mechanics favored roster versus a very strong mechanics speed roster on Romania. And we're going to see how it fares for both teams. Starting on the DT3 on this first pick here. This is the United States' pick. It would behoove them to win this and not let up a break point, but Romania looking for a strong start.
Yeah, this is a Romania roster, like you said, that is deceptively good on mechanics. You see a couple of early breaks, actually, from both sides. Satono Diamond early on for Romania, but now Monko 2K and Rectagon with several early breaks for the US. Lucrece is going to match one of them, but it has been break after break for both Monko and Rectagon so far. We'll see if the Elibert will find some footing here. Quarter of the way in, Rectagon on 90% accuracy, 91% now. Satono Diamond going to miss again. And it looks like the overall accuracy in the favor of the US, Utami and Sawada in particular, up at 99 and 98% accuracy, as opposed to the 93% FC for Rolly and the 97% FC for Eternum, doing a lot of work keeping the score on the side of the US. Eternum, another player to watch out for. Maybe not the pop-off potential of a player like Satono Diamond or Badu, but was in for all 11 maps in a full BO. Oh my gosh! Tommy and Sawada both collapse. Monko and Rectagon both miss as well. Eternum is going to miss for Romania. We'll talk more about Eternum later, but Rolly right now is the one carrying Romania, potentially able to swing this point over to Romania's side on the first pick for the US, holding on to combo. Nobody else in the entire lobby has combo besides Rolly right now. Everyone is breaking on every pattern in this map. Rolly finally finds the slider break, and it's the USA, after a clean four-way wipe, able to hold on to a little bit of combo.
It was Bancho.
Oh, it was Bancho. Oh my god, seriously?
Oh my god.
That's a combo for Rolly going into the last quarter of the map. Chillier, it might actually happen. Romania here.
Oh my god.
What is happening on this first pick? Rolly, despite the full combo, what is happening with the score? Is that another Bancho miss, or is that real? That had to be Bancho, right?
I think it.
No, that was a real miss for Rolly, and the USA is actually going to win this pick by 73,760 points. If you check the MP link, you can get the full scores for both of these teams. That is the correct score for both of them displayed on the tournament client right now. 2.2 million for the US, 2.16 for Romania, and much more back and forth pick than I think we would have expected to start things off with an 800k 92 act 0 miss from Rolly. What was that?
Rolly starting the match off strong right there, proving that Romania is certainly in it to win it today. They're going to let this pick get away from them just by a little bit, but that was the United States' opening pick, so not a problem for Romania to let that one slip away, but definitely a big opening in there. It was a singular miss on Eternum and a slider break on Rolly, leading to pretty much two FCs without those unfortunate breaks from them. unlike the United States, who really didn't have many strong scores outside of Sawada and Utami. Utami finding 5 misses on that big build-up section, and Sawada being the #1 score on that map with 3 misses. You had Monko 2K and especially Rectagon down at 92% accuracy on that pick. So not the type of performance that you really wanted to see from the United States on their opening pick. Not as strong as I think they wanted to look, but it did get the job done, and they held out for just long enough. Rolly, again, someone to keep your eyes peeled for. DT1 being left up potentially, and that DT4 a little bit different. It's going to be the Romania pick coming in next. We'll see if they decide to go for something maybe a little bit more favored towards the aim skill set, and they do. It's going to be Fighting Gold. This map does have some interesting patterning for our mod players, though. You know, you like to think of this as an aim pick being in the free mod 1, but you know, these accelerating streams that are in this map are very difficult for those Hard Rock players in here. You know, with Hidden, if you're a Hidden player at this stage in the tournament, I'd like to think that you are comfortable enough on a pick like this, consistency favored more so, that these accelerating streams won't be too much of an issue for you. But Hard Rock, smaller circles, CS4 base, and you have this high spacing, high intensity map. 184 BPM is not too bad, but it doesn't really pause a lot. And that's something we're going to look out for on the side of both teams here. Maybe a little bit of, you know, concern for the side of the United States. Rectagon, normally one of the better players on this roster. Maybe that DT performance a little bit of a fluke, putting up the 362k. But I guess we can't chalk it up to too much, as Sotono Diamond was putting up the bottom score for Romania, 359k as well. So maybe looking for both of them to potentially perform on this. Looks like Sotono Diamond not going to be playing for Romania on this free mod.
These are usually the types of picks where you see the subs for Romania come in. Their own picks tend to be where they swap out one or more of the core 3 in order to put in likely Badu and either Raze or Rolly or Kahesh or one of their other members here. Usually one of those 3, though. And this is a roster that I think works pretty well for them. Eternum on the Hard Rock, Badu on the Hidden, the Crease, and Raze very likely to be on the Nomad for this roster. Again, Eternum, somebody who played literally every map in their rematch versus Russia yesterday. You expect him to be in for pretty much everything as the all-rounder on this roster. Despite not necessarily being a solid Hidden player, he also stays in for things like the Hidden 3 and for, you know, other gimmicky Hidden picks. So definitely somebody you can look to perform on the Hard Rock here, as this is kind of his preferred mod at the very least. Maybe not preferred skill set with the Awkward Aim free mod 1. And you know, shout outs to Romania picking this map for me. Very, very blessed matchup here with the JoJo map for Dio as the commentator. Thank you very much.
This is great.
Both teams, by the way, obviously just doing one Hard Rock, one Hidden. I think when you get to finals, there's really not much point in over-modding anymore. You just want your preference Hidden player on Hidden and your preference Hard Rock player on Hard Rock, and that's it. This is definitely a Hidden favored map, though. You were talking about how hard this is on the HR with the increase in mechanics, and it's only AR 9.5, so it's not that dense in terms of the object density on this map. See the Awkward Aim jumps, the traded miss for Eternum and Taquito a little earlier in the map before we get into this first PI with those accelerating streams you were talking about. Nobody missing on the first set of them, though.
Big spaces on some of these. It looks like Rise is going to find a break, but doing the crease as well. That's all of Romania. No. It's a full reset. Eternum and Taquito both breaking at the beginning to trade out. It's going to be Fancy Lad to find a break as well as Taquito. Badu did find a second break as well. It's Utami and Rectagon to maintain that consistency on the Nomad and the Hard Rock combos for the United States. Again, eyes on Rectagon right now. That Hard Rock combo doesn't look like much right now. You know, it is the double FC, which does mean something for the US. The Priest's going to find a break as well. But Utami on the Nomad, you kind of expect to see a strong performance on your Nomad players right now. Like Lucrece and Raze finding breaks is slightly more uncharacteristic of your Nomad players for this late stage here. Rectagon, that's the player you need to keep your eyes on. If you can maintain a combo on your modded player, not only is it a significant score boost, but there's almost an intimidation factor if you get to a pause section. Like, oh my god, their Hard Rock player is still putting up a combo. Now, Eternum is doing a great job of matching it right now after that initial break. 630-ish, 650 combo now. Taquito found a second break afterwards, which means Eternum's making up some ground there. But there's a lot of work to be done for the side of Romania right now to combat these two FCs. It's not impossible. It's halfway through the map right now. There's plenty of time for the United States to falter right now, but Utami sitting at 99.5% plus, going into this next base stream section alongside Rectigon right now, dropping hundreds but holding combo. This is big for the United States if they can hold these two combos through this hard section here. Raze's gonna find him, but double broke!
Both FCs for the US and Taquito all dropped during that section for only Raze from the side of Romania. And this is that chance Romania needs to stage a comeback. Some of these aim consistency picks, some of the awkward aim picks did not work for them versus Russia yesterday. So I was a little bit concerned about this pick working out, but this is their chance. This is what they needed to find the comeback in this map. 100,000 score and closing quickly for the US right now. Everybody combos through the stream section. Lucrece misses on air. Once again, it's the two modded players for Romania to hold right now. Badu matching the combo from I'm a Fancy Lad, and Eternum an uncontested 1200 combo on the Hard Rock. These two, kind of the carry players right now for Romania, need the hold. We see another break come through for Taquito, but they're still supporting combo on Utami and Rectigon, which makes it that much harder for this score to go over. Badu misses on the hidden, and then now it's only Eternum going into the ending for Romania. There is support on Raze and Lucrece, but I don't think it's going to be enough with Fancy Lad's combo still holding for the US. Utami and Rectigon on better support. And this score lead, is starting to go back over to the US ever so slowly. And this looks to be a break point. Utami does find the miss, but I don't think there's enough map left. There would have had to be a break from Fancy Lad for this to work out. Eternum on the reverse choke, almost able to make it happen, but it's just not going to be enough here at the ending. 39,000 score for the United States on the break point, and by the skin of their teeth, two picks come through right at the start for the US. A combined 110,000 score difference on the first two picks of the match here, right around 50k on both of them. But the US is up 2-0 to start this best of 13, and this is exactly what happened for Romania versus Russia yesterday as well on these types of awkward aim picks. They look good on paper for this team, especially against other teams that have not been picking into them through the course of this tournament. But they just tend to be a little bit RNG. And because of that, other teams are often able to take advantage and still find solid points on those awkward aim picks. Romania, so good on the aim control as well, so I hope we see them pick into that in the No Mod 3 and the Hidden 3. This type of map, though, extremely good for the United States as well. These sorts of really finger control heavy, tapping heavy, Devious Panda maps of Niwashi songs tend to be extremely good for the United States. Number 2 on last week's Free Mod 4, second only to South Korea, who had the best score and bested them on it as well.
Well, we're looking for the United States to kind of return to their roots a little bit on this Free Mod 4 here. We kind of mentioned them being pretty good at these gimmick-styled picks in here, and this is no exception. They've got the, United States is this interesting roster of gimmick players where they're almost mechanic-oriented gimmick players. You know, we talk a lot about the, some of the picks you see, especially these Devious Panda style picks. We see it in the kind of IIL stuff a lot, but there's two different sides of players a lot of the times. You have your gimmick players who can, tap the finger control. They have the reading ability to play these gimmick-styled maps, but they don't always have the stamina for them. And likewise, your stamina players don't always have the finger control reading gimmick abilities to play this type of map. The United States is kind of special in the, kind of aspect that they have players who can do those things. They have gimmick players that are really good at mechanics, and mechanics players who have the finger control abilities to play through this type of pick right here. And Romania does have a couple of those players, players like Lucrece, definitely very good at stuff like that. Badu, while not the stamina-oriented player, does have a decent bit of speed on him in order to play some of these picks here. So that is at least some sort of help for this type of thing. This is also just Badu's skill set in this type of map as well. So we're looking for, the United States to kind of show up like we've seen in previous years. They're up 2-0 right now. It's 110,000 score in their favor across both picks right now. this could very easily go to Romania if the United States finds any slip up here on this map. They are kind of in Romania's wheelhouse with a few of their players, like I mentioned. You're really looking at players like Lucrece and Badu on this. But we'll see as we get into kind of the meat and bones of this map here. Start off at the beginning here with some act drops across players here, more so on the side of Romania. Rectagon kind of running alongside them at that 92% accuracy, but you've got 90 on Raze and you've got 93 on Eternum. Lucrece falling to 95, but Badu doing a good job holding down the highest accuracy in the lobby, something I think we're expecting from this pick.
Not quite the highest, actually. Utami up there.
He just dropped a couple hundreds. Oh,
yeah. It's close. It's close.
It's wavering.
Yeah, it's wavering. Fancy Lad is also at 97% accuracy, so all three of those players, and Taquito now dropping the miss, as I say that. Rosé matching the miss, however, for Romania and on worse accuracy, so not going to really change all that much in terms of the score lead here for the United States. Just generally a little bit stronger on the accuracy. Rectagon on the hard rock, a little bit lower act than Eternum, but Eternum and Badu. Oh, okay, that's a full team win for Romania.
Oh,
well,
God.
Yep, goodbye. Not much more to say. Why don't we talk about the song? Because, you know, the U.S. has a three-way full combo right now. There's no combo left for Romania, and this map is going the way of the U.S. This is going to be our first really one-sided pick, it looks like, in this matchup. This is actually an OS original, made by Niwashi specifically for the OS World Cup. So shoutouts to Niwashi for the original song for the World Cups here. The USA really showing off what goes on in this song.
Yeah, this is kind of the performance you like to see. You know, again, we talk about the United States. They're good at the mechanical tapping. They're good at the gimmick, kind of mixed in with that. Utami and Fancy Lad, kind of the two players that you really do think of on this kind of pick here. Rectagon, very skilled player. Definitely not somebody that you normally pin on this type of map, but is one of the best hard rock players on this United States roster. And it certainly is showing through right now because he's doing kind of what a hard rock player does on these late stage gimmick maps when you're not a gimmick player, is you just hit the notes as much as you can and try not to break combo. And Fancy Lad is going to find a break as well as Rectagon, though, so they're both going to drop there, but Eternum did trade one of the breaks, which means that, and there goes Raze and Eternum again, so it's Utami on the only FC left in the lobby right now to continue bringing this towards the United States, while Taquito handles the other combo. The accuracy is just so far in the favor of the US right now as well. Rectagon above Raze in terms of accuracy, and then Taquito, Utami, and Fancy Lad all easily 4% above the next closest Ak on the side of Romania. Very good pick for them.
Yeah, score lead right now. It is over 700,000 score lead in the favor of the U.S. This is a little bit ridiculous. They're not quite double score, but this is now 800,000 score lead and climbing. Like, there's the possibility to hit double team score here by the end of this map, and that is a little bit scary for Romania. Luckily, there are no other maps like this sort of really intense rhythm change, polyrhythm, finger control type of stuff does not really find its way into many slots in a map pool. There's the full million, by the way. Utami still holding on to the full combo, 95%. Taquito also on 1,300 combo right beside him there, not quite the FC.
His higher act with hidden.
Yeah, we are at 2.4 million for the US, 1.3 million for Romania. There's just a sliver of map left. That is almost double score, over 1.1 million in the lead for the US on that pick. You know, if
Utami.
the stats from last week, them being the number 2 score on the map, second only to South Korea, don't convince you that this team is very, very good at this skill set, this kind of score lead really should.
Something about the U.S. this year that I think I'll try not to talk about them too much because I think the U.S. becomes a topic of conversation a little too often, is the U.S. is, and I mean, even if we're just looking at this map in particular, you've got 4 B ranks versus a single B rank, which is higher than all of the B rank scores on Romania, 2 A ranks, and an FC, which, you know, if you've been looking at the United States in this tournament so far, you're kind of impressed at this point with that kind of performance. In previous years, I don't think you would have been, because it's kind of the performance that you expect to see out of the United States. But I think we're seeing a little bit more vulnerability from them this year than we have in previous years, especially in those earlier rounds. And it's evidenced by losing that tiebreaker to South Korea. It's evidenced by how early in the tournament they started to lose points, going 6-4 against Hong Kong, or even, losing the first 2 picks against Israel in that first round. So you're seeing this vulnerable side of the US that you don't normally see early on in the tournament. But now we start to get into a different range here, where we haven't seen a lot of the top end of the US perform the way that we know they can this year, just yet. That Utami performance we saw on that free mod 4 is closer to what we expect to see from this team. And that's the type of thing that the United States needs to keep putting up in order to stay kind of relevant in these later stages, because you've got teams like South Korea, who are on a tear this year, Germany, who looks just as good as they ever do, and Canada, who has put up some of the most surprisingly impressive team performances of any team in this tournament in previous weekends. So you're looking at 3 powerhouse teams going up against the United States, who has looked less of a powerhouse team than they have been previously. And Romania, a team who contested 2 of the 3 picks so far, now going into their third pick their second pick rather, on the Nomad 1 here. And it's going to be their chance to finally put up a point on the board here, using this pretty impressive aim roster that they have crafted this time around. Comfortable BPM as well for a Nomad 1. 210, it is on the higher end, but it's certainly not out of the range of what most players are used to for finals or grand finals level Nomad 1, especially Barking Mad Dog.
Yeah, they're going to need to put up a point here. I think if you go down 4-0, that's kind of the tipping point for most matches. Doesn't really matter what best of it is. Obviously, in a best of 9, that's match point. But even in a best of 13, like what we have in the finals here, it's first to 7, sure. But you're over half of the way there with 0 points to your opponent. It makes it so much easier to close out without even needing the tiebreaker at that point for any team. You have to pull off one hell of a comeback if you are Romania and you do start this match down 0-4. So an early break for Fancy Lad to trade with Rolly is a good start for Romania here. A little bit of a combo advantage going into the second quarter of the map here. Rolly gonna miss though to Caton. Going to trade it for the U.S. Haven't talked much about the recent addition, first year in the World Cup on the United States team for Decatur. Really their mechanics fill player. Sometimes in for speed, sometimes in for aim, never really in for the gimmick stuff. So expected to perform on these picks in particular. Munko as well making his return, going to be finding a miss here in the Nomad 1 during the first key eye time, and it's a 3-way full combo for Romania. Satono Diamond, Badu, and Eternum. 2 of those 3 core players. Lucrece, the only one missing on this pick, plus Badu, putting up the scores to be expected of this core Romania roster at this point. Only Utami matching the full combo coming out of the US, and Fancy Lad not too far behind, but that is a pretty big combo lead for Romania, and they're going to start to pull the score lead decisively to their side soon enough. They've just crested that 100k mark, which is where you really start to say, okay, they have a lead right now. But they're really going to need to pull it beyond 200 or 300k for this to look decisive on this map. And I think that's what you need after what happened on the free mod 1, right? You suffered that break point by 39,000 points. You want to put up a good score here. Munko's going to trade the full combo with Eternum. That favors the US. One of those FCs now down for Romania, so this lead's going to start to grow slower and slower. Rolly still... Oh, and Satono Diamond now gone! That is very good for the US and very bad for Romania. Utami is still matching the FC from Badu, and Rolly can only really match Decatur's supporting combo. So Fancy Lad's reverse choke is now uncontested. Rolly also breaking here. It is just Badu for Romania, and that means this score lead is going to start to flip very quickly towards the US. And that is why you need that 200 to 300k buffer, because when things like that happen, it doesn't go awry quite as quickly as we see here with the score lead already flipping back to the USA.
And this is, there's a double break from the USA, which is going to give them a chance to bring this back over. Now it's Utami and Badu matching right up against each other. Fancy Lad finds another break. We've got a quarter of the way left in the map right now. Romania certainly not out of this. It looks to be a little bit closer than they expected it to be with those breaks here, but they do have an opportunity to keep it on their side right now as long as we don't see any major combo breaks from Romania right now. It's so close, and they do not want to let up another break point right now. They have all the opportunity in the world here. They're picking the mechanics, and it's a turn 'em to find a miss. It's going to be so much closer now. It can go back to the US as long as Fancy letting the turn 'em break. What's happening? Oh my gosh.
Everybody trading here. Utami drops! Utami drops. That's the FC gone for the US. Satono Diamond on the supporting combo and Badu on the FC to bring it home for Romania. And they finally find the pick they've been looking for, Chiller. This is what they needed to start it off. Badu, we talked about this player for them at the start of the match, oftentimes known as the face of the country because of that skill cap. This is what you expect to see from a player of Badu's caliber. Find so many badges in international tournaments where he can go in for a few particular picks that he is very, very good at. And this is the result when you finally get to that late stage in the World Cup as Romania. Badu able to show off exactly why he is on this roster, securing the point for Romania with that FC. A big part of the reason why they were able to win versus Russia yesterday, and has to be a big part of the pick strategy here for Romania against a team like the US, where one carry player really can make the difference here in the finals weekend.
And we're looking for this performance from Romania on the mechanics. This is what we expected to see on maps like Free Mod 1, where you have this extremely skilled mechanics roster that can show up when they need to. And unfortunately, you know, that loss of 39k, really kind of uncharacteristic from Romania on that pick there, but they pulled it together. They were able to grab the No Mod 1. 212k, a pretty decent advantage for them as well. I think Romania has kind of found the position they want to take in this match right now. The United States, they're going to keep going for gimmick-styled picks here. They're going to keep going for the precision. They're going to go for the finger control. This is what they want to be dealing with right now. Romania taking advantage of maybe some inconsistencies within the United States' mechanics roster right now. Not looking as comfortable and consistent across these maps as we've seen in the past. And it's giving Romania that foothold into this match that they need. If they are able to take a break point right here, they will be right back into this match. And this Romania roster is no stranger to hard rock precision whatsoever. This map, very difficult with some of these aim patterns. Most notably, the streams, I think, are kind of the big part of this. You know, you get towards the latter half of the map, and you see a lot of potential breaks for the spacing on this, as well as kind of these like cross-screen lower BPM jumps. I always think that on precision for most players, if you get to these lower BPMs, it does tend to be a little bit harder to aim some of those. You have to think more about your cursor placement because you have to almost pause for a second rather than just making a continuous motion. But the United States have got a decent precision roster on their hands. We are going to be seeing Boshiman in for this one. Didn't get a chance to see an appearance from him last week against South Korea. And if there was ever a skill set you were going to sub him in for, by God, it's CS 6.5 Hard Rock. This is what he's good at.
Yeah, Boshiman, one of the best precision players, full stop. Rectagon as well, really, really good Hard Rock precision player. These two, I think, are the two to watch out for on the side of the United States. For Boshiman in particular, with lots of, for example, CS9 plays in the solo leaderboards. Really, really good at that super high circle size precision. This type of map, like you said, a little bit different, a little bit streamier, a little bit more raw mechanics focused, but still a little gimmicky. Has kind of some tricky flow aim, some finger control strain in this map as well that can make it a little bit different compared to a lot of other maps. It looks like we have some technical difficulties with the first slot not showing up. I'm not sure if that's showing up on the stream. No, it is not showing up on the stream. So,
Man, I love it.
Hopefully
the music window crashes.
Yeah, the music window crashes.
the
the first player crashes, and well, the client didn't like that map, I guess.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. It just crashed. I mean, listen, I've seen it when like disconnects and aborts and a bunch of other stuff throws it off, but I've never seen it just shut.
Look, I've seen it start playing in catch the beat mode.
Okay, yes, fair enough. That has happened
all right?
before.
Look, if it can do that, it can crash too. All right, let's.
Oh my gosh. I cannot. I cannot. All right. Well, time to pull up the time-old strategy of opening up other people's streams. There it is. Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. So we're in a little bit into the map already. We have seen some breaks from Rolly and Satono Diamond. Lucrece now also finding a drop. Eternum is the player to watch here for Romania. Not only has
US?
the combo, but also their Hard Rock main. And yeah, 3 breaks from the US as well. There is a score lead here. It's about 100k for the US. But Tutami versus Eternum right now on the full combos. Those are the 2 to watch now. As Eternum finds the break, misaims one of the jumps. Satono Diamond has some combo for Romania. It's not going to go over that quickly, but now it is. All right, well, 0 combo for anybody besides Utami, as they do not want me to be able to cast this match, apparently.
No,
this is
not at all.
It's just Utami. It's the Utami show. This is the guy. He is the guy for the US this year. And kind of has been all year long, back-to-back North America Tournament champion Utami, second place Circle Circuit Championship Utami, second place CPMC Utami, or no, I'm sorry, third place CPMC Utami, first place Roundtable Utami. This is the Utami you've been seeing all year, and this is the Utami that the USA is going to rely on once again in the later stages of the US World Cup.
Yeah, this is their gambit. If you have one player that's able to FC, 80% of maps, you're going to have a pretty good shot in these later stages, and it's kind of going to become a problem for Romania if they can't find one player to put up some good performances on these maps. Eternum has, a couple of misses here. He actually had the highest stack in the lobby up until this stream section right now, but Utami is going to take the lead with these breaks from him, and he's just going to maintain the FC through the hardest section of the map. And it doesn't even matter if he breaks now, because he has generated a 700,000 point lead for the United States. And you know what? This is it right now. This is exactly what Utami is here for right now. And this is why the United States is going to be able to take their own point pretty comfortably on this Hard Rock. Pick into whatever Utami is good at. And this is something I'm kind of interested to see for later matches as well, because we also have players like Malashevsky playing this weekend who are, kind of arguably better than Utami in recent tournament performances. Oh, and that's tragic. So Poland might have a good shot at this late stage pool too. But that's a story for another day. Utami is going to just barely miss the 99% accuracy at the end. Will still put up the 1 million plus score towards the ending of that map. 1 slider break at the ending, 1369 combo, the only S rank in the lobby. Rectagon coming pretty close with the 2 miss there, but really nobody on Romania able to contest the US on their own picks in this kind of latter half of the match here.
Yeah, that first DT3 pick for the US was very, very close. It was only, 70,000-ish points on the DT3, and now this Free Mod 4 and Hard Rock 2 have just been incredibly one-sided. It has just not mattered what Romania has done on these 2 picks, as the USA kind of steamrolls through the last 2 picks of their own. And now we get another 1 slot picked up here for Romania. I was a little concerned after the Free Mod 1, but that No Mod 1, it was also a little bit close. They're going to keep going for this skill set. I think this hidden one should be something pretty good for Romania. A player like Badu on an AR9 density check awkward aim map like this is much more powerful than even on the No Mod 1 or the Free Mod 1, because those are much more comfortable in terms of the reading for a lot of other players. So whereas on the Free Mod 1, for example, you get players like Rectagon going the Hard Rock. He is not going to be comfortable on this map at all. He was one of their top 2 performers on that map. Whereas on the No Mod 1, you get players like Decaton and Munko going in for it. They're probably not going to be all that comfortable on this AR9 hidden. Decaton's still going to be in for it. Fancy Lad and Takedo are going to be rounding out the roster here for the US, alongside, of course, Utami, who will be in for pretty much every single one of these maps. And on Romania, we still see Eternum. Never mind, he is still in. Because, of course, he is. Satono Diamond Rizé filling out the roster for Badu and Eternum here, the sort of dynamic duo in the late stages for Romania. Eternum just in on everything, and Badu in for Romania's picks to perform when it matters and get them some points.
Well, right now, Romania, they've looked much better on their kind of ladder picks than they did at the start. They were so close in score margins, and they finally started to push these picks in their favor here. Going into Hidden is a good route for them right now. You know, obviously, on the side of the United States, you have to worry about players like Utami and into Keto, but if you're on Romania, you're going on an aim pick here into Badu and Lucrece, or Nanuya rather, on Satono Diamond, which is a pretty dangerous pair here. Eternum is not normally somebody that you see on Hidden only. Raze has actually been playing most of the Hidden free mods for Romania today, so pretty warm on this skill set right now for the AR9. Looking for someone, and there it is, Decatin going to be trading the break out from Eternum here. It's going to be 1 miss to 1. Eternum's going to trade it, though, right back.
I feel like this is a pick where Romania is just kind of waiting for everyone on the US to break and for Badu to FC. Yeah. Because their roster, their supporting players clearly are not all that comfortable with this map. I think this is a pick where they are looking for their power player to full combo, and he is not. And that, is not very good. Keto will miss. But Utami and Fancy Lad are still on the two-way FC. Fancy Lad's still SSing this pick. If there's one thing he is good at, it's going to be these types of hidden, awkward aim maps and tech maps. Really, his strong suit and always had that in tournaments. During his peak years, became an all-rounder, but before he was that kind of monolithic all-rounder for the U.S. as their captain, this kind of stuff in tech maps, this is really what he shined on, and will continue to shine on even as he kind of shifts out of that all-rounder role. Does find a break here for the US, but Utami is still going strong, and nobody on Romania seemingly can find a consistent combo. It's Badu and Eternum with a little bit of combo each, but this is 450,000 score in the favor of the US right now. And Utami is going to continue to FC because while, yes, you can usually rely on Badu to get a very, very good score on a map like this, you can also rely on Utami if you are from the USA to still be good at Hidden. He will find a miss there in the last quarter of the map, but Eternum has missed as well for Romania, and this score lead I think is insurmountable at this point because Badu is not on the FC. If he were on the FC, this may have started to get close, but there's just not enough combo on the side of Romania to make this happen without, chain misses for the US. And we are very rapidly approaching the end of this map here. And the start of that for Romania just was not good enough. You needed more supporting score. You needed a better pop-off out of Badu, who right now is sitting solidly between Utami and Fancy Lad in terms of scores on this map, as the two standout performers for the US clinch yet another breakpoint for the relatively favored team in this matchup. This is the defending world champions. This is the team that is out for blood after their first loss before winners finals since 2014 for the United States, and their first loss period since 2018 against the United Kingdom in grand finals. So this is a team that is looking for a statement win and currently is finding quite a few of them now, 5-1 up in this matchup.
Well, that's the big performance from Badu right there to try and drag Romania through their own pick. Unfortunately, just was not enough. Utami was able to match for far too long, and the strong hidden roster on the rest of the US just besting Romania there. Brought the score gap to a little bit closer at the ending than it was when Utami was still holding the full combo, but Romania, they, they're starting to get into danger territory here. The United States looking to close this match out as fast as they possibly can after last week's slip up against South Korea, going to tiebreaker and taking that loss. Of course, again, we talked about how much that would potentially affect the motivation of this team. And if you've ever seen the U.S. lose before, which, many people haven't if you started watching the World Cups within the past 3 or 4 years, is, this is a team that if they take a loss, they'll come back stronger than you've ever seen before. And they're going to go in for the DT gimmick. to potentially give themselves a match point advantage here. 45 minutes into our match in this best of 13 in finals, and Romania is already starting to, again, get into some scary territory here. If you do think about it, though, I mean, this is a first seed versus 11th seed matchup. Yeah. So, in the end, this score gap is not surprising on paper, but given the Romania that we saw versus Russia yesterday, I'm expecting them to, not go down without a major fight here at the ending.
And to be clear, I mean, the first two picks, again, the collective score difference after the USA was up 2-0 was only 110,000 points. Those first two picks could have easily gone the way of Romania. So we could have seen a 3-3 scoreline right now if Romania had been that little bit better at the start of the matchup. This could be a tied match at the moment. So Romania is playing well. This is still a relatively close match, but that last break point, I think, is really important for the US. They are now up 4 points. They have the chance to secure a match point with this next pick, and if they can place the next 2 or 3 picks very well for the side of the US, they can win without the tiebreaker, close this out, and avoid the kind of comebacks that have happened now to them twice already in the World Cup, once against Hong Kong and a second time against South Korea, which actually ended up with a loss for them in the semifinals. And those types of comebacks, I think, are what should scare the US at this point, because they, that's how they've lost. That's how they've been given trouble in the World Cup so far, is with those kinds of comebacks. So let's see them close out a match cleanly here. If you are looking to see the USA of old, the USA we expected to see at the start of this tournament, once again, the 4-time reigning world champions for the United States against Romania here, who honestly, I kind of like the odds on this pick. I don't think this is all that bad of a map for Romania. Yes, it's AR 10.3, and yes, the USA is a very good DT team, but this is another aim control focused pick, and with players like Eternum and Badu being probably pretty comfortable on this sort of map, I don't think this is all that bad of a map for Romania, and I'm a little interested to see exactly why the USA picked it. Whether they have some incredible pop-off scores from Utami and Rectagon, who are currently the two players holding the full combo for them, whether Fancy Lad is really comfortable on this sort of pick as well, because he definitely has the aim control for something like this, or whether it's more of a feeling on this sort of map, and we can potentially see Romania punish on this. Kehest going to be coming in for Lucrece on this pick to join Eternum, Badu, and Satono Diamond. Kehest is going to find a break. Eternum also breaking now for Romania, and that gives a big score advantage to the US. Sawada is going to trade the break. Not usually an aim player on these DT picks, but Satono Diamond is going to give it right back, and that is now 3 FCs on the US to only Badu for Romania.
Well, this is the type of thing where, the US, they put the time and effort into these matches. If you, genuinely know how much this team practices, you wouldn't be surprised at how comfortable they are on some of these picks here. This is a team that knows exactly what they're doing. So if the US is picking a DT4 and Romania is normally good at DT4, they've got to expect this type of performance from the United States right now, and they just look so consistent across here. Fancy Lad is going to find a break at one of the hardest sections of the map, but Badu will not, because he is one of the best aim players in the world. But Utami and Rectagon are trading it. Yeah, they're going right now.
What am I watching?
Ack is dangerous right now. That is terrifying. All right, they did it. That's a double FC.
That's a 3-way full combo on the... Okay, never mind. Badu choked the very intro. He is 10 combo off of an FC. That may as well be a 3-way full combo. What was that lobby? That was a very high-level lobby on that map, to be clear. The rest of the roster for Romania did not have a great time. But yeah, the 3 players you expect to pop off for the US on that map really popped off. That was a nuts team score.
That was ridiculous. That's exactly, and again, it's something we mentioned at the beginning in passing. The United States just has this inert ability to play late stages comfortably. They make these super difficult maps that almost nobody can play most of the time look doable. And that's just the depth that this roster kind of presents every single year.
I think a lot of that also comes from just... It doesn't get talked about that much, but how many players in the top 5,000 are US. You can be rank 5,000 global and rank 950 in the US. Like, that is 20% of the top 5,000 is from the United States. So the sheer depth of players that the USA has to choose from means they can craft basically whatever kind of roster they want for the World Cups. And that's why you see so many good players from the US just come out of nowhere year after year. Because even when some of the old guard starts to fall off, they don't have the problem of other countries of really needing to rebuild all that much, because there are always other really good players right there ready to step in for the US. And this pick, this is a big change of pace for Romania, but it is one that I like. This is a change of pace that says we are going to stick with our core three who were in for almost every map against Russia yesterday, and we are going to rely on them to take a point against one of the best tapping teams in the tournament on a pick that is 4.5 minutes long of 212 BPM streams. This is a very interesting pick for Romania, but they are a sneakily good no mod 2 team. They have been good at these types of stream picks year over year for several years in a row now, particularly with Eternum on the roster, always putting up, kind of trademark double S's on some of the no mod 2s in the early stages of the OS World Cup. But now Satono Diamond and Lucrece in particular getting really good at these sorts of picks. Kind of makes them a threat to a lot of different teams, especially late stage, with how good those three in particular are on these sorts of maps.
Well, I agree. This is a great pick for Romania. If you've looked at this team's consistency across stream maps so far, this is a surprise to absolutely nobody. Eternum year in and year out has proven to be so consistent on stream maps here. This map has a little bit more aim than usual. There is some potential for slider breaks on some of these sections if your aim isn't really, really consistent on some of these, but you've got these other players like Rolly and Lucrece, and even, Satono Diamond on Nanaya, who has proven to be, again, one of the best players on this Romanian roster alongside Badu in these matches here. This is a strong no mod 2 roster, but something you do have to consider going up against the United States most of the time is this is a team who pretty much picks and wins no mod 2 in every single year of this tournament against every team except for Germany. So you are hoping, if you're on the Romanian side right now, that your consistency will just carry you through this map right now, because the US is good at this. So if you're Romania, you're going, okay, we're better. We can outscore them despite knowing that they're a good no mod 2 roster. That's Romania's plan right now, especially picking something that might be a little bit more contested than one of the potential other picks, such as something like no mod 3 in this pool, where they might be able to utilize players like Badu more. But right now, we'll see who's exactly comfortable with this from the start. As it gets to the stamina section later in the map, this beginning should be fairly comfortable. I would generally say, after having play tested this, the first 1,000 combo is way more comfortable than the ending. But Rolly is going to find an early break. Won't matter too much. There's plenty of combo left.
Yeah, Lucrece also missed right at the start of the map. I think just kind of the same start to the very first stream there, but shouldn't matter too much aside from the accuracy. Munko's going to slide a break on air here.
So will Eternum.
We're seeing a lot of breaks on very little here. Mostly for Romania, but now also for Munko. Yeah, this is not where you're supposed to miss, guys. It has not picked up.
This isn't how you're supposed to play the game. Please.
One thing to note, these are all really good accuracy scores. By the way, Satono Diamond on 99.7. We have 99.8 for Rectigon and Munko, 99.5 on Utami Sawada, 99.7 as well on Eternum now. Rolly, despite the earlier miss, is on almost 99% accuracy as well. I mean, these are all very, very good scores for both of these teams right now, and Romania is by no means out of this map. Lucrece is going to find another miss, though. It does make it harder for this comeback to happen, as the USA now just has a pretty large combo lead. So Wada's going to trade it. Tommy's going to trade it. And now that leaves Rectigon as the only full combo left alive. It's matching the FC out of Satono Diamond, but there is a little bit better combo now Rolly in particular with unmatched supporting combo for Romania. Eternum is matching the combo out of Munko, and aside from that, it's Lucrece kind of trading the breaks with Sawada and Utami. Let's see how long this unmatched extra combo for Rolly can go, because that's what's going to make this score lead swap over, if at all. Satono Diamond, though, trades the FC out, and now that's an unmatched FC for Rectigon, Lucrece, and Rolly also trading. Oh no, Romania.
Oh, that's just absolutely tragic for Romania. The complete meltdown on the stamina section of the map. Only one of them. Lucrece now just finding missims constantly. It is going to be traded with Rectigon, the only remaining FC on the United States, but not before. Oh, but Monko 2K does find a break. Hold on. Eternum has the combo now, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of support, so Sawada and Utami are going to be able to hold off Eternum for a little while here, but if any break comes out from the United States right now, Eternum is going to be able to run away with this. He has 99.8% accuracy almost. Eternum can do this for Romania. Rolly finding breaks. Lucrece continuously missing here. It's Satono Diamond and Eternum to hold it for Romania into the last couple seconds of the map. There is a quarter of the way to go, and there can be no slip-ups right now for Romania. Eternum.
That is 200,000 score lead for the U.S., and despite the miss from Utami now... okay, wait, Sawada also closes the combo, but Munko and Rectigon are right there with 700 combo each now about, and there's just not any combo on Romania to take advantage of these breaks. Satono Diamond, Lucrece, and Rolly cannot keep up with this map in the later stages. It's only Eternum on that high accuracy play now. Satono Diamond is at 98-ish%, but... the rest of the roster here for Romania seems to have been a little bit outscaled by the end of this map, and this looks to be the end of the road for Romania as well. Munko is going to drop, but Rectigon is now still on 1,000 combo for the US and closing in on that 400,000 score lead. And you mentioned it at the start of the match, but this is a Team USA that is out for blood this weekend to show that once more they are still the reigning champions. They are still the USA of old, and they will still make the grand finals. They have secured themselves with this win a spot in the top 4 of the OWC World Cup, still needing to best one more team this weekend to make that grand final spot, but looking very solid here in the second half of this matchup versus Romania, with nary a scratch on the leaderboard, 1 point for the European squad here, who will close out the tournament in top 6.
Well done to Romania. It's their highest finish they've ever pulled in the tournament. Top 6 will be where they end, though, in a valiant effort, making it through multiple adverse situations in these previous weekends to now get to this point. Unfortunately, will succumb to the United States. Not something to shy away from. Again, saying that you lost against the number 1 seed in the tournament still sounds pretty good. And you took a point against them on late stage. This is a Romanian roster that continues to perform every year so far that we've seen them in the past 2 or 3 years. So maybe looking for some more good performances from them next year. But for now, it's the United States to move on. They will be facing the winner of Canada versus Poland, or I should say Poland versus Canada, the 2nd and 4th seeded matchup in the losers bracket. That match is going to take place immediately following this in about 3 minutes. So we'll hold off on housekeeping things for a little while. We'll give you a quick nudge to buy your banners if you want to do that in the meantime. But well done to Romania. We thank them for coming out for the tournament as usual. Congratulate them on a top 6 finish, their highest ever. And we will wish luck to the United States in their future endeavors and look forward to this very exciting match we have ahead of us.
Absolutely. And just as a quick close, to put in perspective how good this Romania roster has been, the only 2 teams they lost to were Germany and the US this year. And they also knocked Australia down to losers bracket and Russia out of the tournament. So this is a strong finish for Romania, regardless of this top 6 exit and not making it into that top 4. Congrats to them, and congrats to the US again on a top 4 finish. That is going to be it for now, but we will be back in just a moment. Not even 2 minutes time with our next losers bracket matchup between Poland and Canada. and we'll give a quick switch over to our new set of casters, This One Guy and Doomsday, who will be bringing you that next broadcast between the number 2 and number 4 seeded teams in the tournament, once again in the US World Cup Finals. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and stay tuned for the next finals matchup.